welcome back to Street Widows Podcast. It has been a long time since y'all seen us, so it's fall 2023. I'm excited to start the new season. I'm excited to share these conversations with y'all. So much has changed for me since the last time y'all seen me. We in my house today, so we kick back, we chilling vibes. Very personal. I wanted to invite people to my home just to establish a level of comfort in having these conversations. So y'all in my house now too. So what's up? Hey y'all, welcome. I'm super excited. So today, this is like the guest who needs no introduction. If you're from Louisville, this is the guest who needs no introduction, okay? But she is a mama, heavy on the mamiana for one. Period. Big mama game. This is an entrepreneur. This is someone who I see as inspirational and motivational and who has taught me so much. Just every time we have a conversation, I take something away from it. Dope people having dope conversations. So much has changed for her since the last time that y'all seen her on camera with the podcast, The Street Widows OG. And it's just, we here. We survived another year. Oh my God. I moved to Louisville, so that's different for me, and I thought it was important for me to just share a little bit about that because I think we learn from each other's failures or like the moments that we look at as low, and I want people to know, like, never be ashamed of doing what you got to do. So I moved home. I'm in Atlanta. My job gave me 1 week notice that they was cutting my pay by half. And they expected me to work 7 days a week for half the pay. What? Oh yeah, y'all tripping. The real estate industry was crazy when interest rates went up. And so I just felt the impact of that. And it was like sink or swim. So I moved back home. I'm like in a really dope space of being able to be with my family, and my children are having experiences that they just never had before. They know what cousins are now. They know what birthday party. My kids had never been to a birthday party. They know what birthday parties are now. Like, it's really dope. Today we in our house. We in the house, and y'all, I'm so excited to kick Street Widows season fall 2023 off with our OG Kelly Bundy, Misha. Kelly Bundy in the house. What? My girl is here, and y'all, a lot of shit has changed.
Yes, it has.
Since the last time we sat down in front of a camera. Now, we've seen each other in the meantime, but since we sat in front of a camera.
Oh, girl, let me get comfortable.
Oh, get comfortable.
And it's really nice in her about the way, honey.
Thank you. Yes, we at the crib with it. Home vibes. Girl. A lot of things have changed since the last time we was together. When I thought about this, and I've been thinking about the pod since we stopped last time, since January of this year. I'm like, I want to dig into Misha's story with Kentrell and what that's like, and let's walk through like that day, like, cause how did you wake up in the morning? Like just different things. You wake up with an intention for one thing, and a whole other thing happens with your day. Or sometimes you're woken up. That's how you wake up. That's how your day starts. But now we talking about Corey too.
I know.
So I've offered my condolences, but let's do that for the camera. Like, my condolences, because since the last time that we met, Misha has again become a street widow. And one thing, before we even dig into it, when I watched back the episodes, our very first one, which, if y'all don't know, I think I've said it a few times, but the podcast did not start off as a podcast. It was supposed to be a docuseries type of deal. It just turned into that. When we sat down that first time, you said so many things that play back in my mind. One of them is, you said, I'm not a widow. It was my children's father. Mm-hmm. And I always wanted to set that straight because, yes, you are a widow. Like this, we make our words mean what the fuck we want them to mean. A street widow is a person who has lost someone to the streets. And a wife, a girlfriend, a side chick. The side chick at home crying too. She sad. Her feelings is hurt. Her man.
Y'all got me crying over my husband.
But it's a person. So I was like, I wish I would have stopped her right there.
Well, you telling me today, honey.
Yeah,
so
I'm telling you today. Yeah, let's lay that down. But so I thought that we'd be having a conversation about Kentrill. And so I think I didn't make any plans. Like, I just wanted to go organic. But let's kind of weave the two in together. So because it is more recent, tell me, and because I know, and your day started off so positive, it was beautiful. Like, walk us through the day that you lost Corey. From the time you woke up, just tell us your day.
So at first, my alarm was going off. My biggest thing is that when my alarm's going off, I have to get up because I was so used to it with my husband being in prison as long as he was. And so I would wake up first, and then the phones would come on that he can, call out or whatever. So I was always the first to get up. So I knew I had to get up. So my body was like programmed to that, always getting up. But this particular day, I'm already knowing that he's next to me, and I know that he's going to wake up and have the kids get ready and then take them to school like he do every morning. And then get us some breakfast, come back home, and then we're going to talk for about an hour and a half, do a few more things, and then he's off and I'm off, and then we back at it around nighttime. But it didn't happen like that. We ended up having an interview that day. He had just got out of jail, the federal holdover for like a couple of days, like 7 days prior. So he's getting right back out of jail. Of course, being in jail, you done lost your job and things like that, your source of income. So with that being said, he was going to go ahead and get a job. So he was on the phone doing like a small interview with the hiring manager or whatever for the company. And then he just threw me and it was like, well,
he gonna get Bay a job too. That's right. Yeah, that's why we love Corey on the Street Widows podcast. If y'all been watching, y'all know. Yeah, Corey ain't gonna play about it.
Hey, Corey was something else. He was like, well, if you want me to come to the interview, but listen, he's the one needing the job. He's the one that contacted the job. He's the one that, started telling other people about the job. But he gonna tell the job what he is and what he ain't gonna do. So he's like, now he's telling them he's basically bargaining.
If y'all want me.
No, seriously, this is all in seriousness. His uncle can vouch for everything that I'm saying because his uncle was on three-way with the lady and him. And so his uncle was like, Corey, tell him that you need the job. So my husband is telling the lady that he needs the job. This is literally the day before, y'all. My husband's telling this lady, if you want me to work for your company, like he ain't the one to put in the application. If you want me to work for your company, then you got to get my wife an interview too. And so the lady on the other end was like, what? And then he said it again. So obviously I ended up getting an interview too. And so we go to this, so the next day, which is the day of, I wakes up to my alarm. Well, I rolls over to my alarm knowing that he's going to get up. He turns my alarm off. Him and the kid, he's yelling at the kids to get up, making sure they up, brush your teeth, wipe your face, get your backpacks and all of this stuff. So he, that he could end up coming back in there and asking me if I wanted Wendy's or McDonald's breakfast or whatever. So
hey, your Wendy's potato wedges.
And that's mine. The number 5, that's our meal that we always get. Everywhere that we go, we try to get the same meals. It was weird, but that's husband and wife. Anyways, like I said, this is the day of both of our interviews was the kids got to get to school, and then we got to get the kids from school. Kids got to start getting to practices. Mm-hmm. We knew we was gonna take some more pictures coming up for the summer. So we went ahead and was telling them, we went ahead and, was getting all of that type of stuff together, telling the kids, about our day. Mm-hmm. But I didn't get all the way up. I was still, like, sitting in bed. Him and the kids ended up getting in the car. They left. He got us something to eat. He brought it back. I don't know what's going on and transpiring in between him and anybody else, but our house was, like, 15 minutes from their school. Mm-hmm. So that's not typically too far, but it's, like, a distance enough to have a phone conversation. I shoot a couple of texts back and forth. I knew the days prior to he was arguing with like different family members because everybody thought that what he was doing was wrong, which was he wanted his car back so that he could give it to me. He wanted me to hold his car and be in possession of his car if he was going to be in jail. Rightfully so, I'm his wife. Any real wife or any real woman of God would know the wife comes first anyway. It wasn't that I was asking him for the car. So the whole time he's in jail, all of these different days, he's arguing with different people and stuff like that. So the day of, we go to, after all of this, me and him, have a conversation or whatever. He's telling me who to call if anything happened to him. He's thinking of his granny because now he done found this picture of my granny. So now he's thinking about his granny because we were just pulling stuff out of our suitcase of that day. To put it into our house because we ain't been in the house that long. And then during that time, I'm working every day, so I ain't really doing too much with the house. But the main stuff that needs to be up is up, was still a nice house. We still got other ways to go in our way. Anyway, we goes to our interview. Once we leave our interview, because our interview was at his uncle's job, the uncle that was on the three-way. We goes over to the interview. We leave in the interview. He gives his dad a call because now his brother and his daddy got his car hidden somewhere. They didn't stole his car while he was in jail. So Corby got on the phone with his dad and, said what he said. And they had a couple of words or whatever for his dad to tell him, go over ahead and come over here. You can get the keys to the car. He didn't say you can get the car. He was like, get the keys to the car. All in all, my husband, he ended up knocking on the door. I'm in the passenger seat, kind of leaned back because we got up super early that morning. No, I didn't so happen to get out the bed. I waited till he got back. I was still in the bed, but the fact that I was even wide awake was enough for me. Anyways, we goes to his dad's house. He knocks on the door, and then he bangs on the door, and then he kicks on the door. So I'm like, oh, let me go ahead and sit my seat back because I ain't got time for them. They ready to do this usual arguing back and forth. Then next thing you know, Corey's back over there. So I didn't say anything. I kept my mouth shut. They had been arguing back and forth while Corey was jealous and stuff like that. So I just kept my mouth shut. So I ain't saying nothing. So I kind of like leaned back. I ain't really paying him no attention. But now he's doing way too much. He's pressing the doorbell, doing something with the doorbell. He's kicking the door. He's yelling. This is all the stuff that Corey's doing. So I'm like, he's doing too much. So I leans up and like, I don't remember if I beat the horn or how I got his, if he just turned around on his own. But I do know that either one happened to where he turned around and looked at me and I was just like, come on, just forget it. Like, get out the door. Let's just leave. I'm ready to go. It's getting close to the time for us to get the kids. So we need to make sure we're on point. He turned around, looked at me, and he was walking back towards me. And all I remember is hearing like big, loud booms, 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 booms. Boom, 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 boom. Like it was like a lot of noise. And so I looked up. And no, when I was already telling him come, I seen his dad come out the door, with the gun. And so it's an AK-47. It's a pretty big gun for, a person, even though people do use them and you have the strength to. My husband, I just seen his face just fade and like the smile off his face. Because at first he was smiling. When he was mad, he smiled. When he was sad, he smiled. When he was angry, he was smiling. It was weird. It was like, I don't know how to take him right now. But that's just the way he was. All in all, I remember hearing all these loud, like very, very loud gunshots. And then seeing glass like splatter on my neck, on my legs and stuff. And I see his face. I just seen blood just splat like everywhere. And I was like, is this really happening? It can't be happening. You don't think your father-in-law, your brother-in-law is going to gun your husband down. You're not even thinking like that. That ain't
you
something
thought they might argued.
They do. They argued all the time. That's what siblings did. And then they'll be like, my husband will throw a threat, they'll throw a threat, or one will throw a threat, the other throw a threat to the other one. Like everybody, all of them was always arguing all the time. The biggest problem with their father being in prison for so long that he was, they really kind of were only raised by their other family members in their other family. So now they're older and they're back around those certain toxic family members. So they brought them back together. They products of street widows. And so, like I said, my husband was falling. I ended up getting all the way out of the car on the passenger side, going around trying to help him. So I'm dragging him. I'm literally trying to drag. I'm not dragging him, but I was like pulling him. He wasn't really moving because that dead weight. He already knew. He already felt that. He was like, leave me, leave me, leave me. And I was like, no, grab on me. Grab around I'm going to stick my foot out, grab around my legs, and I'm going to pull you. And you just help me from the top. He couldn't even help me from the top. Couldn't do it, but he was still talking. So I said, well, how about this? How about I just, come on, everybody back up. So some man that was in a work truck, when he was first getting out the car is when the gunshot started. So his tools and stuff was all over the place. But I could tell that he's a van. He's a person that works on some type of maintenance, heating, cooling. He does something. He ended up running towards me, and I just turned my husband over. Then we ripped off his shirt. He gave me his knife. We cutting the shirt, getting all the clothes off. I was like taking out. So we started taking out pants. I left everything on. I took everything off except his boxers. And I just started looking for where the bullet holes were. Maybe I could stop the bleeding or whatever. And then I could put him in my car, take him to the hospital, and, he get in surgery, he go to rehab, and he goes home with me. That's the story that's already just running through my mind, in my head. But it didn't turn out like that. Like, my husband was like, please, baby, just leave me. Just leave me. Save yourself. Save yourself.
He's scared for you.
He's scared for me. Still worried about me. Still worried about his wife. He was still like, leave me. They gonna kill you too. So I was like, I'm not leaving. I'm not going nowhere. So I'm still trying to pull him. And I'm just like, it gotta be something else. And he was like, baby. He said baby like 4 or 5 times. Then I remember him saying, Misha, no, listen to me for real. And I'm like, he's giving up, but I know he's gonna make it. I never seen him making it. I didn't seen us in rehab. I would have took him home and nursed him back to health. It could always be done, is what I was always thinking. But God has the last say so. And I wanted to, cry and things like that, and like follow all that and stuff like that with me having such lack of strength. Mm-hmm. So once I realized, like, yeah, I just let loose. Like, this is my husband died, so I stood up and, I said a few words to his dad. And I was like, you're going to kill my husband. This is your son. And he just looked in the door and he backed away. And the little brother backed away because they had both been in the door. But when they was in the door, the first set of gunshots was from the daddy. But the daddy just kept on doing it. You can also hear it on the Ring cameras from neighbors. They were like sharing it around on Instagram, Facebook, and social media and things like that. Everything on social media. But I'm not gonna lie, everything that gets released on social media that's about this case, I'm all for it. Not just because it's my husband, but I'm all for it because of the story behind everything that happened to my husband. People always be like I've had people tell me like, oh, well, your husband was a street dude. So my husband being a street dude meant that he should get killed by his father. And everybody's like, the streets are the streets. It's a lot of people that don't see anything wrong with my husband being killed by his own father.
Yeah, because that adds a different element to it. Mm-hmm. How has you've been through this twice now, right? Mm-hmm. So what was the difference in that? Like how did that element change everything as far as you receiving that? Because like losing somebody is hard, right? And you have an anger towards that person who took them from you. But what is that like when it's your father-in-law?
So,
because y'all had a good relationship prior to, right?
Yes.
So what's that?
So Kentrell's, my children's father, his family, they would argue with me and Kentrell together because they knew we were not splitting apart. We didn't care what nobody was talking about. It was going to be us two together regardless. And then, so they didn't like it about us, with them being older and feeling like you need to respect your elders, you need to do what I say. And people don't realize that grown-ups ain't always right. So, a lot of the mistakes that grown-ups today are making, where the grown-ups are from generations before us, like our moms and our dads and our grandparents that raised us, and vice versa. It's just a generational curse that needs to be broken down. Mm-hmm. And a lot of people don't get to break it down because a lot of people don't seek therapy and get the help, the medicines and things like that they need to help and heal them. Yeah. But all in all, you still have people around you that they love you, so they'll do anything for you in the world. Then you got people that likes that image and likes what comes with you, likes the positive side of you. But you go off and do something like kill somebody or go to jail for whatever you go to jail for, and they disown you because they feel like they embarrassed by you because their image is no longer protected. Mm-hmm. So that's kind of where we're at with that. Kentrell's family right away, they were just like, this is the widow, basically telling the lady like they were married. His mom sent, it over for me to do the funeral. Mm-hmm. She was in prison at the time. Shout out to Nikki.
And Nikki was in prison with my mama.
Oh,
my mom was like, that I
Your mama must be crazy.
She is.
Oh, wow. She was in. Okay.
Yeah, that's it's Louisville small.
But then you had his dad come right in the funeral home. Was like, I don't care what I have to sign. She's good. Like, let her make her decisions and let her pick out because she did know him best and they did love each other no matter what they went through.
So you handled everything
with Kentrell.
With Kentrell's funeral.
Yep. His daddy just came through and dropped the money and was like, And I appreciated that because even though he couldn't stand me half the time, and even though he couldn't stand his son half the time, most of the time he couldn't stand me because I was just doing what his son did, and he always thought his son was just a little knucklehead that's just running around still getting into stuff, even though he had the money to help him and things like that. My husband's just like, my baby daddy is just like, I still got that mindset that, I'm out here fending for myself and I don't want to ask nobody for nothing. So they kind of bumped heads right there. But all in all, his family did love him. And when I say love him, like, we not putting stipulations on our love. I'm talking about unconditional love. When you say, I don't care what you did. I don't care who you were. I don't care what, you went through. I still love you.
Yeah.
Whereas you have other people, like on my husband's side, they like to, talk about me and things that me and my husband went through. They didn't mind putting up videos, especially his mom. She didn't mind putting up videos of my husband, under the influence after we done got into it and things like that.
When you first seen that she posted that video, what was the very first thought that came to your mind?
I was disgusted. Then I was thinking, like, if Corey was here, oh.
Because I was like, and I've never watched it because I'm just like, I don't even want to partake. But of course, everybody's talking about it. It's, you did a couple lives and you talked about it, but I never seen the original video. So I can't even like ask questions that people probably got about seeing that.
A lot of people ask, like,
and I'm like, it's really unacceptable.
A lot of people ask, like, why he, got beat up and jumped, or about me and my kids. A lot of people ask, like, what kind of drugs he was on. A lot of people ask, did I do the drugs with them? Did I get him on the drugs? Because that's what they've been hearing.
And what did you get him on the drugs?
So, no.
What's your answer to all of those questions? What's your answer?
So, as far as the drugs, like, I've taken many, if you know anything about me, then I'm always quitting and starting a job, so I'm always doing all these DNA tests and all these drug tests and things like that. I've taken quite a few drug tests. I know if I've been doing any type of drugs. I was even shot one time back in 2012, and when I was shot, I didn't like the morphine, so they stopped giving me that. Then I would act like I'm taking the other medicine, the Percocets and stuff that they were giving me, because I didn't want to take them for real. And they was like, oh, in order to get home, in order to be able to go home and leave the hospital, you got to do the X, Y, Z. But with my husband's family, they felt entitled. They felt like, oh, I'm his this, I'm his that, I could be in charge. But people don't understand my mindset. My husband got killed in front of me. So people ain't understanding my mindset. Well, yeah, you're still this person, just like the dad is still the dad. But look who killed him. The brother's still the brother, so look who killed him. So in life, we gotta stop looking at people for who they are and giving them these titles and stuff. Yes, you're my mom, but you are not the person who I can run to for anything. Them be the first type of people to try to come and get your kids from you and whatever else and talk down on your name and stuff like that. You're my mom. But aren't you the same person that let somebody break my jaw in 3 places per se? I'm just thinking about all this stuff that my husband would be thinking. I kept praying to God for God to be on my side, but every single time she's taken me or my husband to court, we have always got off. Recent as last year, like all of this, that's what made it a difference. I didn't have to do all. As an adult and with my kids, I didn't have to worry about people calling, child protective services on me just because they didn't like me and they're going to make up some lies. Wasting the state's money or whoever pays for the child protective services and stuff like that, because each time they coming around, it's just a dud of you really being a hater. So I didn't have... You didn't have to deal with the hate. I didn't have to deal with that. No, everybody was like, oh, that was his wife. And I wasn't even his real wife. I was just with him at a very young age. We was together all the way up until the year before, he even passed away. But that was still my friend. He still lived with my mom. Like, I was out of my mom, and he's still living there. I'm like, Mama, when you going to put him out? She's like, that's my son. I'm not putting him out. You supposed to take my side. You supposed to take my side. But no, my family, they're just such an unconditional loving family. Like, they don't get in the mix with people's relationships. They don't, run and talk about you behind your back. My family is very outspoken, so they don't say it to your face. So whether you like it or not, it's still coming out. And it's something different on my husband's side of the family. Like, they betraying each other, competing against each other and stuff like that. So that was a big difference for me. Everybody on this side over here with my baby daddy, everybody's worried about what I need to bury him. What do we need to do? We're going to bring this food. So it was like so much food. It was unbearably so much food. I'm like, I know people love control, but golly, like people sending food, drinks. It was so much stuff. I started giving. I was like, man, we're gonna box this stuff up. We're gonna start giving it to the homeless and stuff like that. My husband's family, they had their own. His mom, she had her own funeral.
So let's pause. We gotta. So this day happens, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then immediately after that, of course, it's arrangements. Wait, even before that, all of this happens. It happens in front of you. How do you tell your kids that this happened?
I was I was a witness at the time. I was nothing but a witness to them. I was a victim, but I was a witness first. And I was the one that seen everything. I was the one that heard everything. I know the backstory of it all. So the police weren't letting me go anywhere. Not talking on any phones or anything. So I couldn't talk to anyone. I had been blowing my mama's phone up, my sister's phone. I even called from the police officer's phone trying to get in touch with somebody prior to me even being, as soon as they snatched me up, I was just like, I gotta call my kids. Mm-hmm. It was my first thought, because my husband's last words was, tell my kids I love them. Mm-hmm. Please don't let my kids forget about me. Just please do me, and I want to go be with my grandmother and stuff like that. So them being his last words that he's not worried about nothing or nobody except them kids, I knew that I was gonna be indebted to him to tell them first. Mm-hmm. It didn't go down like that.
You was not the one to tell them that happened?
My sister family answered from the police officer's phone. He texted her, and so the police finally, she ended up, answering the phone. It was all type of ring cameras and with people just out and,
which is giving delusional, because why did you think you was gonna do that?
Why did you think you was gonna get away?
And emotional. What is that strong of an emotion that you can't even think through? Even if you was gonna kill your own son, you can't even think through to do it smart. That you was so hateful or vengeful. That's deep.
It's deep.
Yeah, people need help.
But she took me to court over his body.
And so I want to get to that too. It's been so, unfortunately, let me fix my microphone. I don't want y'all mad at me. I'm trying to talk doing that. It's been so much that you've had to deal with. So the funeral process, let's go. So someone else, your sister told your kids. Mm-hmm. Okay, before we move forward, when you finally got to your kids, seen them, laid eyes on them, or even if it was you talked to them before you seen them, what was that moment like for you?
I just, on my way, seeing them walk towards me, because I knew that they were there with my sister. She was already like on the other side of the crime tape. Me seeing them walk up, and I was walking up. At first, I was just crying so hard, but I was like, I gotta dry my face. I gotta try to make myself look better to tell them this. Because if I'm already crying and hysterical, that's gonna make them crying and hysterical. But everybody just folded in my arms and was just crying. I was just like, this is a moment where I'm not out with a friend, I'm not out with a sibling or whatever. It's just somebody that's part of my everyday lifestyle, my everyday moment. Just everything that's involved.
Your partner, your best friend, the person you bounce ideas off of, the person who help you get your kids ready in the morning.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Like, this is the person that they can count on. Mm-hmm. They got somebody they can confide in. They got somebody to love them no matter what. And, every little girl and every little boy, especially African American, don't have that. Everybody don't have that.
And they haven't already lost that.
And they haven't already lost that once before with their dad.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And so it was like, now I gotta tell them we gotta start over again in life. Mm-hmm. I gotta tell them their dad isn't coming back. The person they look forward to, they was like, my daughter, like a week after, it happened, like a week after us, like burying him, I'm telling them like it's coming on 2 weeks. Your daddy been gone. And at first I was counting every day and stuff. And so
That's how it is.
And so my daughter said, she was like, you ain't have to wake us up this morning. Because at first after he died, I was having to wake them up every day. And like a week after that, it might have been like 2 weeks, I don't remember. But sometime, like early on time after that, they ended up, my daughter ended up talking to my husband. Well, she's thinking that she's hallucinating or she's being delusional or dreaming. She's feeling like she's talking to my husband and he's already saying like, saying whatever he's saying. And so,
or that she's not being delusional and he came to her.
Yeah, he came to her.
Maybe her.
Yeah, not really knowing.
Yeah.
And so we was, all in all, we were just, everybody's just thrown off. Everybody's not in their right state of mind. Everybody don't know really what's going on at this point. But she woke up and said, told my daddy, I'm going to tell my daddy that, I told my daddy that he didn't even have to wake me up this morning. I'm like, you ain't tell your daddy that? She's like, yes, I did. All in all, she's so used and in uniform with hearing his voice every single morning. Wake up, wake up, wake up. Even on Saturdays, she's hearing wake up because she heard it so much throughout the week, even if he ain't saying it.
Mm-hmm.
So, I think that was the biggest thing for us.
Oh my goodness. And that was when because I think I found out on social media. Yeah, I definitely found out on social media. And my immediate thought was, oh my God. I just remember all the things you said about Corey. Mm-hmm. And he take my kids to the graveyard. If I ain't fucking with him, he's like, okay, well, we getting up and we do what we do it. Like, and I'm just like, oh my God, her and them kids. Her and them babies. Like, oh.
I appreciate y'all coming over just to be with me. I was very grateful. Oh my God, I love y'all.
Hell yeah. We had to. It's like,
it was unbelievable. Cheryl's wife.
Brought that wine back here because we already know. Yeah, and that was my first time being in support of somebody grieving like the loss of their partner. I lost my grandmother since then, which was rough on my cousin. Like, it's been things. But yeah, like in that moment, so I'm just like, it plays back for you. Like, I'm like, this is day 3. I'm thinking day 3 because you are in the beginning. It's like you counting, and it's a period of time that it takes for you to be able to just live another day without thinking how many days it's been since this thing happened. So now let's go to the funeral, because baby, that was a whole bunch of mess too that you shouldn't have had to deal with when you was trying to lay your partner to rest. So tell us, when did the shit first hit the fan with the funeral? Had it been from jump? Was it like what made the mama take you to court for the body? How did you get there?
So we had been having our differences over the years and stuff like that, but I think the biggest thing was me not needing to ask for help in that moment, because I had been through it prior to. Even though I was younger, I still had that mindset that I had to get up and do what was needed. Mm-hmm. Because even when he was alive, I always had to get up what was needed. Get up when I, needed to handle my business on that specific subject.
Yeah. But
now, I'm the actual wife, so I'm already thinking in that mindset. And the mom, wanting to be the controlling person that she is, she just felt like, oh, well, he's my son. They're going to give him to me first because I had prior issues with domestic violence. So she was like, the judge would never, this is what's going to happen. I'm going to call this person and call that person and things like that. Wanted to be nasty and evil instead of just coming together in that moment, because that's all he wanted from the get-go. But she wanted to, compete and tell me what I could upload and what I couldn't upload. Like, this is my husband. That's why I tell people to watch what families they grow, they get married into. It matters.
Yeah, no.
You got a mama that's fake and trying to get them hooked up with people every time you turn your back, or you want a mother-in-law that's go to church and is really about who she says she's about, and, you know, the morals of the family.
Absolutely. I mean, but you also can't control where you come, like we don't choose who we're born into, right? So you was able to experience a wonderful person who just happened to come from, you know, that. And sometimes like people are a product of their environment.
Oh, people that lack
of the
morality.
Yeah.
People that stuck in the mindset that I'm gonna just do what I was always taught, because my mama did it to me, so I'm gonna go ahead and do it to my kids, because it ain't no big deal and I'll survive. But everybody's not raised on survival either, and everybody's not raised on love. But a lot of people that are your people come to see, when you were raised on love, it works out better for you, you know, in your lifetime when it comes time for your mental. But people that were raised on survival, you know, they
overcome the mental first.
They gotta overcome
before
the mental.
They can fully live. Yeah.
And a lot of people don't be able to overcome that because, you know, they don't be strong-minded. They ain't been told that when you're a survivor, no matter what, you still got to make shit happen. But people ain't in that mode. So it was that. I felt like it was the control. Like you wanted to be in competition and things like that when you had no choice. And it's a lot of people that say, oh, well, this person got this, that, and the other. You know, some of the richest people be jealous of small town people, and they go and steal, like designers stealing other designers, and that's because they feel like I got money, so I can do what I want to do, and everything they can still forgive me because I'm the person everybody got to depend on. Instead of saying, no, what you doing is wrong. You got people working for you. You're not paying them. You using somebody's designs. You ain't contacting them, doing the copyrights for it, getting, you know.
Let's walk through. You walk into the courtroom to, I guess, defend yourself as a wife. Your right to bury your husband. What were you thinking when you walked through the doors?
I was thinking that God, no matter what, has always had my back. Always treated me better than I feel like a lot of the other people, because my problems are small compared to others. Although we're humble and grateful for what we have, we're still comparing ourselves to the next person that doesn't see it. Well, I am healthy, but they're not, so that's a blessing. I am the one doing this and they're not, so that's a blessing. Just because someone has more than you don't mean that they're more valuable than you. They you know, have more protection from God than you. You know, it's just
any more favor.
Sometimes they got less. Because you look at somebody with a big house, and you look at somebody with a brand new car, okay? You look at somebody that, you know, owns let's say they own $100,000 business. They got a big house. So, you know, if they're paying mortgage, it's about $3,000, $4,000 a month. If they're paying rent, this same house is about $8,000 or $9,000.
Yep.
Okay? So
expenses.
Let's talk about that. Now we're gonna get into expenses.
Yeah.
Because this is how you really put it in. Let's break it down though. This is how you get with expenses. So you got $100,000. Your house is gonna be about what? How much you think you a realtor? So how much is if you
paying a mortgage for what if this house is housing, you at about $3,000.
Okay.
And that's in Kentucky. Like, that's generous.
Okay, so 12 times. How much is your down payment gonna be?
Depending on your credit.
You said about $3,000.
But let's say they put down 20%.
Okay.
Because they're not using down payment assistance. Because they got money, right?
Okay.
So let's say they put down 20% on their house.
Okay.
Or let's say they got good credit and they only put down 3%.
Okay.
But even out of that, if you add up what the utilities cost on that big ass house, what your landscaping costs on that big ass house,
talk to them.
Yeah, your home warranty, all of those things. If you don't have a good home warranty and your appliance break down or your HVAC go out, you got to be able to pay that bread.
Yeah,
if you driving a foreign car and your car breaks down, you can't go to Joe down the street. You got to go to the dealership. You got to pay dealership price. So all of those daily expenses add up. I don't think people just look at what they think you have coming in.
But say I have a nice size house that I own.
Mm-hmm.
I only make, we were just talking about, they make, let's say $10,000 a month.
Mm-hmm.
Let's say I make $5,000 a month, but my house is paid off. My car is paid off.
Mm-hmm.
It's just me and my wife because my kids are in college and they did so good in school. We didn't have to worry about that. So it's money just still in our pocket that we didn't have to pay for.
Yep.
And now we're not using as much electricity. You know, we're not using as much food. We don't need to buy that much food that we would for a family of 5.
Mm-hmm.
Then it's just a family of 2 on the daily. We don't have to use as much gas because only me and her are probably going to the doctor. We're older. Our kids are in school. And like I said, we own our house, so we have plenty of income left over because what have we been paying the whole time?
Mm-hmm.
Life insurance, LG&E, and what else? It's some type of insurance.
Little water, little sewer.
Small stuff.
Yeah.
That's small stuff compared to a homeowner when you got real stuff going on inside your home. Who you think got more money right now? The person that got the brand new house, the brand new car, the lifestyle that really costs a lot to where they spending way more money. This person got to have designer bags and stuff. This person don't.
Yeah.
It's about what you really care about. But your expenses is who make up who you are and what you spend your money on.
Yeah. And that's liabilities at the end of the day. You need assets over liabilities for sure. So
that's why I'm saying, all in all, people see the glitter and the gold. They don't see this person struggling more than this person because this person isn't trying to put it out there or have an image of things like that. This person already know their purpose. They walk in their purpose, and people are already attracted to them. When people see them, people say, "Oh, who is that?" I want to be connected to that person. I want to do what that person do. I want to give them free tickets to my show so they can come and bring other people and bring the people that love them. That's just the way it goes. And then you got somebody else over here who's trying to keep up, but they're drowning in bills. $100,000 a year ain't nothing compared to somebody with a $3,000 mortgage. A car that they still got a $2,000, $1,500 car payment a month. This person don't have too much going. Then they still got the kids in there because they still running around trying to be seen on social media and stuff. That they're taking good care of good kids and things like that. They got all this designer and stuff for the kids. Who you think is struggling? This person is more likely to be jealous of this person because they know that they can go on their account and they can pull and do certain things. They know that they have to go get a loan. They have to work. They have to, they can't go and hire employees, and if they do, they don't do them right. Mm-hmm. All in all, when it comes full circle, it's not about what you have that makes people jealous of you. It's about what's in you. And some people just ain't got it in them.
Yeah, it's about God's favor.
It's about God's favor.
When you walk in a room, you are a light and people are attracted to that light. And when people don't have that, yeah, they envy it.
They envy
and will do crazy things because of it.
And when you have a jealous spirit, you're going to do something crazy anyway. Cause you just can't even... You think somebody's jealous of you? Do you think when you get that new Benz, they're really happy for you? Them be the people that say, "Oh, I could have did that. I could have got that. It really ain't that much. Oh, but I'm about to go get me a 2023 and da-da-da." It's like it's always a competition. It's like they're really in competition with themselves because everybody's not out to compete. It's always going to be collaboration over, competition to push us farther.
But unfortunately, everybody, they don't think like that.
That's true.
So, moving forward, so now you won that battle.
Yes.
And she was deep in the courtroom. I was like, I got the backhand in the group text. Yeah, we showed up and we showed out and we got what the fuck.
Yeah, my people, they came through. I love them so much. I had so many people behind me, like so many family, friends, and loved ones. And I was like, everybody really do love me. And they really do know that I've had enough of, the same back and forth, about nothing. Mm-hmm. You would think this lady was the crazy side bitch.
And I want to get into the mama with the son that ain't her son's, but claims the son. It's so much to get into. This might need to be a part 2 because the shit gets crazy.
Mm-hmm. Well, they're gonna find that out in my book. My book will be released early December, and it'll be for stocking stuffers. You can get it for stocking stuffers and things like that. So
do you have a title of the book?
Yes, I do.
Do you want to share it? Wait, is this gonna be exclusive?
Yes, it's exclusive.
Street with Us Podcast. What kind of Street with Us Podcast podcast exclusive. Y'all know we have to tone it down for the show because we'll get too fucked up if we be fucking with the elevated goodies. But y'all know that before we came on to in front of the camera, we was drinking on our elevated goodies. So elevated goodies, Trisha Smith.
Shout out to Trisha Smith.
This is a Street Widows podcast exclusive. What the name of the book is? Misha?
Okay, we need a drum roll.
Drum roll, please.
No, it's called Monster in Law.
I like that.
It's called Monster in Law. If you know my story, then you know how relatable it is.
I love that.
Especially with a lot of women being married and feeling like they have to compete with the mother, and or the mother feeling like they have to compete with the wife, and you know everything's out. It's supposed to be for one cause, and that's to make his man happy, you know. But some people put their own feelings before theirs. They put their own feelings before other people's at all times, no matter what the cost is.
And that's a milestone in life. Well, you know, we will always support you. Definitely. We'll be getting a copy. We'll have to come back and do like a part 2 after the book comes out and, you know, go into that. But before we get into our Widow Talk and pull a few cards and shut it down, what was your biggest lesson out of losing Kentrell? And what was your biggest lesson out of losing Corey?
My biggest lesson with Kentrell was to make sure that no matter who I dated after this or married per se, that I wouldn't be lost on what my next step is in life. I said I was still going to make sure that whatever plans I had prior to that happening, I was going to step in my purpose. So that was my biggest transition when it came from me losing Kentrell and then with Corey. Now with Corey, I knew I need to get up. I started right that night when I was just by myself. I had woke up out of my sleep crying, and I said I need to journal. So what I did was I immediately just started writing down different things that I was still going to do in life, things that I really needed to get up on top of, like releasing my book. Because Corey bought me the app that I'm using to write my book. He bought me that app back in February. He died in May. So I was like, I'm still going to walk in my purpose. I'm still going to use the whole, you know, the app that was already paid for. I'm still going to do this, that, and other. And so I immediately, knowing I still got to plan his funeral, I'm still looking up and Googling the stuff I would usually Google a day whenever I had my free time and, you know, downtime from looking. So that was the biggest thing that I felt like I made a great decision when it came time to growing mind, you know, having a growing mindset, having, you know, a better attitude about it, because I used to be like, oh, well, it don't look like it's happening, so I'm going to go and do something else instead of just going forward and continuing to try in life. So I think it was the biggest thing.
You feel like you, unfortunately, was more prepared?
I was.
Because you had been through it? So you knew I got to stay motivated. I
think I was more prepared, you know, once it happened, but prior to it happening, like leading up to that point, I wasn't prepared mentally for that, because when you don't think that someone's family member will take it that far. You've heard threats and arguments and fights and things like that, but you haven't heard of something like that really even happen. This is my first time. I know a lot of people. I've heard a lot of stories. I do a lot of reading. I never read that story of what a father, you know, killing his, you know, son or whatever the case is, especially not his junior. So I think that was the biggest thing, like the transition of it all.
Yeah. What if you could, because you've answered this question before, and so y'all stay with me because I want to clip these two pieces together. I'm pretty sure you've answered what would you have done differently with Kentrell, and it was showing your kids more emotion. What would you do differently after having lost Corey?
I would cherish more moments. I would, you know, not be so stubborn. Cause like with Kentrell, I used to forgive. With Corey, I was like, I can't do the forgiving because that's what's gonna make you keep playing on my face and doing whatever you want to do and disrespecting me in a way that I'm not comfortable with accepting. And so I think it was that.
Yeah. Misha, it's Widow Talk time.
Let's get into it.
All right, Widow Talk. Shuffle the cards a little bit. I'm kind of like, I don't want to. They be all over the place. If it's upside down, we'll just pick another one. Do our honors. Street Widow OG.
If you could ask your person one question right now, what would it be?
And which person? Both of them. Both of them. One question.
I don't even know. I don't even know. One question is a lot.
Yeah. You got multiple questions.
Yes.
A lot of questions.
Yes.
I think for me, it is kind of hard to answer, ain't it? What's the one question? I be like, can you see your shit?
Right. Oh my God, that's a good one.
Can you see your kids? Can you see us? Do you know what's going on? Like, do you see how this child is your child that I ain't got to deal with? Like, can you see this? How? Because I feel like once people pass, they are connected to us.
I be feeling connected to Corey so much.
I feel connected, but so I made a post, I put it on Facebook because I'm like, I was just like praying and crying one morning, and I'm like, I always ask God, like, please, like, Taiwan, protect us. Like, you know how you just feel so safe in your man's arm, like, you just, that safety, I'm always praying that over us. And I'm like, how selfish of me is it to be asking him in the spiritual realm to be stuck with us? And he's just watching us and can't talk to us or touch us or be with us. Like, that's like hell.
That's miserable.
Yeah, like, that's a form of hell. Why would I wish that on him? Like, no, he should be free and you know, like, but I feel like even, so now I'm challenging all these ways I think about this. But if that is the case and he is free and living whatever, you know, the spiritual world has next for him, there's still a connection, right? And so I just want to know, like, how connected are you? How much do you see, do you feel? That's what I would want to know. Yeah, that's me. I guess I feel like I'm cheating.
Yeah, put it down and let us pick.
Right. If you could go back in time 60 seconds before losing your person, what advice would you give yourself? Don't trust nobody. And I knew that, but the people who I felt like I could trust, I was trusting them and couldn't even trust them. I think I would just emphasize it to myself, like, you from this very moment on, it's you, and that's it. And, like, you are the only person that you can trust. That's what I would have told myself. What about you?
I think with my person, with Corey, I would have made it a last moment of happiness. Because he was a happy person most times, especially when he was drug free. So I would have made it something happy for him.
Yeah. I like that. Oh, your turn.
Okay, now Trisha Smitty.
Right. What do you say?
What's something that your person did that annoyed you? Go ahead.
Oh, this is Taiwan used to clean up and not put the clothes up. And I put this in our group the other day. Like, I would be so mad because I come home and he's like, babe, I cleaned the house. Okay, but why the clothes right there on the couch? So
it's like you always said something wrong with something.
As soon as I walk through the door, I'm looking at clothes on the couch. Instead of being like, oh, like, look, you really clean.
It's like,
it would make
it's still
me
dishes
mad.
in the sink.
He would, oh my God. Even something else that would make me mad about him is he would get mad at me. We would have the dumbest arguments because, like, I wouldn't let him help me. So he had this thing where he never wanted me to get the groceries. Like, we do the self-checkout. He don't want me to carry the groceries. He want to be the one to carry the groceries. And I would, like, you know, it's just habit. You go to the grocery store, you picking up your shit. And he would, like, we would get into it every time. Yes, you don't know how to let me be the man. You ain't got to carry nothing. Just go to the car. You good. Like, and that would annoy me. But it's things that, like, now I miss. You know what I mean? Like, I miss it so much.
Yeah.
He annoyed me all the damn time. I loved his ass, but oh my God, I'd be like, bro, you acting like my daddy. But he was just always trying to teach me something. And that's really like, at the end of the day, what it was. Like trying to give me wisdom and knowledge. But I'm just like annoyed.
I think, no, I know my most annoying thing with Corey. The most annoying thing with Corey was that Corey felt like he could repeat after you. Like, I think Corey, the most annoying thing with Corey is that he felt like he had to repeat after everything that you said. If he was like showing, he thought it was to show his love and plus like get on your nerves about it. So if I'd be like, ooh, I like his TV show, he was like, ooh, I like his TV show too, like a kid. So that was really annoying for me. And when I say I used to just crack up laughing, I used to find myself get mad, then I crack up laughing. So that's probably my most annoying thing.
That's funny. The fact that you couldn't even get it out.
I know.
I know.
Because it used to make me so mad. Like, I used to have steam coming out of my ears.
But it be those type of things that now, like, you would give any. Yeah, you miss. Yeah, absolutely. What's one thing you never got to say to your person while they were with you? You made me go first on your cord last time.
Yeah, I'm saying like my mouth. I don't think it's too much stuff that I ever, didn't get to say. But I do want to say that I would tell them that I love them so many more times. I would do that.
Yeah, I think probably the same for me. I think just maybe it's not saying something, maybe it's doing something, but I just wish I could have like been more receptive to everything that he was trying to teach instead of being like, in one ear and out the other. I would just tell him like, yeah, babe, you was right. You was right. I give him that. I would give that to him like, yeah, babe, you right. That would be mine. It's the last chord, Misha. Let's go. Make it a good one. What are we talking about?
What else did you lose when your person died?
A lot? Shit. Woo. I lost a lot. If I'm honest, the very first thing that comes in my head is my best friend. I lost my best friend. And losing them at the same, like those were my two best friends. So that was a lot for me. What did you lose?
When my person died, I'm going to say this time I lost my mind for a moment. Like, I couldn't think straight. I was forgetting. I was so in the moment of what was going on and so traumatized by what I had seen and witnessed that some days I had to have somebody to remind me to eat, take a bath. Like,
was it not like that for you with Kentrell?
No, with Kentrell, it was like, I gotta, because I was more so in the streets at a younger age. So I was like, so I gotta be a ride or die now. So I'm ready. I'm ready for whatever comes. Then you got the older like ladies from the hood telling you like, yeah, you got that, little mama. You gonna do it. So you thinking like, I'm gonna be good. Like these people, this is the hope. This is the hood. This is people that you never seen looking up to you because y'all grew up in the same poverty. But they look up to me. So what I'm doing is probably right. So that's how men and women operate. They get to thinking like the people around me that's cheering me on, them telling me to pop that pill, that's me really showing them that I know how to get high instead of saying, nah, what they teaching me ain't right. It was more so.
Girl, preach. Don't go to church in here, okay? It's been dope having you. Of course, it's always like a vibe when we get together and sit down. I appreciate you and your support. And we talked about this, but I will put this on the record, like on camera. The first time I reached out to you, it was, yeah, what's up? What's up? And I mean, we had like our little, our little promo thing going, but it was like, it's been nothing but open arms, like very receiving, very genuine. And I appreciate that. And girl, when our podcast is on Revolt TV, baby, the OGs is in it, okay? The OGs is the OGs is the OGs. Period. So thank y'all for tuning in to another episode of Street Widows Podcast. Hope that y'all have a good fall holiday season. You know, like, we know that grief gets hard during these times, and that's why the podcast comes on during this time. So get your wine. Order from Trisha Smitty. Okay, get your elevated goodies. Sip on your elevated wine and chill out to the podcast. Let's come talk. And if anybody. So a friend was telling me, she's like, I think you should do like a nomination, because I think it's people who I know I would like to see on the podcast, but I feel like I ain't just gonna tell them. Like, it might be disrespectful or distasteful. You don't know how to approach somebody. So if you know somebody who you would like to see on the podcast, just DM me and say, you in here for me, but and send me an ad, okay? And I would just reach out to them organically, and I'll invite them on, because we want to have open and honest conversations. And we just learn so much every time that we do this. So again, it's Street Widows Podcast, where we heal in public so those healing in private can keep going. And we see y'all next time. Peace.